with that, like our fill-in space of like, that's a good joke.
Yeah, that would be good. That would
Hot take.
Yeah, that would really get the people over at TQE just clamoring for my name there, you know?
Wow, name drops already. Hey, Brad, did I tell you that we were live?
Oh, good.
Witness the birth of a brand.
Nice.
I have officially tweeted, and it is the open bar. It is 5 minutes late. J Mike, I tell you what, bro. Getting kind of good at this.
Yes,
kind of good at this.
Yes, we are. And if I was not traveling tomorrow, we may have even been on time between work and all of this packing that I'm trying to do. And trying to spend a little bit of time with my family and not be a deadbeat dad or deadbeat husband. It's you know what, I'm hitting what's the Mendoza line? What is that? I'm not big on baseball. It just sounds good right now.
It's like 195 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I'm hitting that in life right now. pretty much a boss.
Heading for the Triple Crown, Yelich style. Trying to be an all-star on the open bar, an all-star father, and an all-star at life.
Look, man, you can't win at everything, but the things that you can win at are mediocre. You know, mediocrity is attainable. So just going for it.
Yeah, there's something to be said for quiet mediocrity in life, you know?
You know what? I was just going to mention that. Speaking of mediocrity, we have Brad on the show tonight. We have Jake on the show tonight. We have Justin on the show tonight. Two new people and the exec producer of the open bar.
Former.
This is a good point. You know, we should really start with this, actually. Apologies to you, Brad, because you were completely not mediocre compared to this man right here. Jake, bro, where you been? Where you been? Knock, knock.
Been changing his Twitter handle. He's been blowing up at Crossroads.
After talk like that, I'm surprised I even came back.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name's Jake.
J to the AK.
Yeah, what's going on, fellas? It's good to be back. I miss the banter. Always feel at home here at the open bar.
Yeah, just beating you down.
Yeah, his life
live on the mic. We are happy to have you, man.
It's good to be back.
Yeah, absolutely. And a more formal introduction, Brad. Welcome to the show, my man. How are you doing tonight?
Pretty good. How are you? Looking forward to being on a show that actually I listen to, and good Lord, I'm not going to be funny on.
You're only here to set my cash lineups. I made this clear already.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That and I chuckle very competently too.
Uh-oh. Shane just told me, where's the YouTube link? Did I really not? Yeah, I did. Shane.
Get it together, Shane.
Okay. On to the next. Justin Freeman. How are you doing, brother?
Well, what's up, man? I'm circling the drain. How about you? Dude, everything's gone terrible for me this year. But I mean, other than that, everything's really quite fine.
Well, I mean, is that an American drain? Is that an American drain, or is that the Aussie drain?
Oh yeah, no. You know, like it goes down in America, it actually comes up and gets right in your face.
Hey.
Right in your eyeball.
Call that the old Texas tornado.
The Australian pink eyes, I like that.
God.
But yeah, man, other than that, it's fine. How's your teams doing?
I wish I had a segue of saying, speaking of Australian pink eye, but I don't know where to go. So my teams are not good. They're just, Chris Hogan is just not good. And other players, Lev Bell, is not good really.
Yeah, I'm a Hogan Bell victim too, man. It's brutal. It really is. I mean, and now there's just a little bit of light at the end of the Lev Bell tunnel, and I'm 0-4 in this league. Freaking brutal.
He's like, hey, I'll be back week 7. Oh yeah, that's the bye.
Yeah, right.
So when right when you're trying to make your playoff push, he's like, just a little dirt in your face, no problem. A little Lucy pulling the football out from Charlie Brown. I like that.
What do we do with Bell though? Is that depending on the record, like a wait and see, or do you flip it now if you are in Justin or myself situation? Well, what do we do? Tell me.
I'm riding it out personally, man. I don't see any benefit realistically that comes in selling them. I just don't know what you could get, honestly. I mean, because I need a savior at this point, and I mean that's who I drafted Lev Bell to be. Is like, you know, this guy that can just put your team on the back and go for it. Now, I don't know whether he'll even be that kind of guy once he comes back, but like he's the last best chance I got. So rolling with him, baby.
Yeah, I'm keeping him too because mostly the only person I'm being offered for him is like Austin Eckler. You know, like, nah, that's not going to be enough for Lev Bell.
Yeah.
I'll just take my chances when he comes back. It's kind of how I am with DJ too, with his 15 points a week every week.
At least he has a floor, though.
Yeah, at least he has a floor. He has his floor and his ceiling are the same thing.
It's a very small room.
Yeah.
It's a crawl. It's more of a crawl space than anything.
Yeah.
That mean score of week to week is pretty consistent, though. You can count on that.
Glad I spent a top 4 pick on that.
I was advocating for DJ #1 overall, over Gurley, over Elliott, over all these guys. I don't get it, man. I don't get the offense. It makes no sense. Like, how do you not like actively get the dude involved in the ball game? It's crazy.
I think there is some hope though there at least.
There is.
You know, like,
yeah.
Josh Rosen came in last week and looked phenomenal. Like, I tweeted some stuff out like during the game, like how good he's looking, and then of course my buddy Peter Howard chimed in. He's like, "Yeah, those 58 yards are really impressive." But
that's about right.
He had like 5 major plays that were just dimes, and they were just dropped. So I think Rosen gives some hope for that offense, and even in spite of the coaching, I think they're going to have some kind of offensive turnaround here coming. Even
that
if it's
throw to Chad Williams too, right? That with just the heel out, like the hairline of his heel was right on the edge of that out of bounds line. But man,
and JJ Nelson dropped that bomb. Yeah. Christian Kirk dropped that 35-40 yarder. I think Ricky Seals-Jones dropped a good. I mean, he was throwing really well, and he was under pressure constantly.
Yeah,
which is going to be a constant in the season.
Yeah,
which reminds
me
of like Josh Allen as far as not giving a shit, but then throwing it
good at quarterback. It's not running.
What a turnaround, man! That one of the funniest things from Twitter over the past 2 weeks is just so upsetting to watch recency bias in full effect. With who would you rather have as your NFL starting QB? Mitchell Trubisky or Josh Allen? That was after Allen lights up the Vikings, or for the lack of a better term. And then the next week it's Mitchell Trubisky time, and he's got 6 touchdowns, and now everyone's flipped. Now they want to start their franchise with him. It's like, my goodness.
Did you see Fabiano had a poll on Calvin Ridley versus Julio Jones?
And it's really won, didn't he?
Yeah, yep. Like by a landslide.
For redraft, rest of season.
Yeah,
I want the dynasty. I want the dynasty poll. I want it.
It's sadly pretty close, I think.
I bet it'd be 60-40 or something like that.
It's ridiculous.
But that's not, I mean, how is that okay? Yes, Ridley's scoring all the touchdowns, but I think at some point, no, I don't even want to say that. That's not right. I don't know. At some point, people have to, I don't know. Never mind. I don't even know where I'm going with that.
Julio went 9 for 173, like a chud.
Right.
Yeah. With no touchdown.
Yeah, it's starting to look like Sark and Matt Ryan have some sort of a pact with God to not get him a touchdown this year.
Fact.
You know?
You would think he would at least like have like a 60-yarder and just bust it off. Like his usage in the red zone has never I don't know why. And even last year, like his usage was actually pretty good, but he just didn't capitalize on it. But it's just mind blowing how he doesn't get any touchdowns. It's amazing.
It really is.
But even with what you're saying, so I just don't understand. And I guess I had to look at these numbers to kind of bring my brain together, which was weird. If we're looking at targets on the season for the Atlanta receivers, Calvin Ridley, 21 targets, 6 touchdowns. Awesome, right? Obviously a pace that's not going to be sustained. Julio Jones has 46 freaking targets.
But how many
46?
touchdowns?
Yeah.
And that's what people are going to go back to. So I guess if you're
That's the
in
only
standard,
thing.
you're probably pissed off, I guess. I get it. But golly.
Why are you playing standard anymore?
Yeah, right.
You deserve this.
Yeah. I just don't get it. Like you just said, 9 for 173, and all of a sudden, we're upset, we're up in arms about it. Like I just don't get it. I don't get it. Well, let me ask this: the Julio Jones owner goes to the Lev Bell owner. Who says no?
Oh, I want
The Julio owner, hopefully.
Yeah, I want at
Like
least
Julio for Lev Bell, like that trade.
Yes, just.
Oh, it's got to be Julio.
Unless
I don't think
it's
anybody's
dynasty.
making that deal.
Okay.
That gets
Dynasty.
closer, but I still
Yeah.
would go Julio.
Yeah, I feel like rest of season, like it's definitely Julio. I'm just curious in terms of because when we talked about Lev Bell, I know Justin, you said, "Hey, I drafted him to be my savior. Like I drafted him to take me to the promised land." And so now, like he's in a position where for dynasty, okay, let's say he doesn't make it through the year unscathed, he doesn't get hurt, he's productive, he looks like his normal self. Now we've got to go through the offseason of, okay, where does Lev Bell go? Like what offense does he fall into? And all of a sudden, I feel like that just gives me this indigestion that I don't really want. So I just really like
Pepto-Bismol?
yeah, some Pepto, some Tums. I don't know. I feel like that would just be really intriguing if those owners came together. I'm curious who says no.
Yeah, like let's say he goes to the Jets this offseason or a team kind of like that where, I mean, that's a big difference going from Pittsburgh to the Jets as far as what his ceiling could be on a weekly basis. Like, what does that look like? What does Lev Bell in green and white look like? It's probably fairly mediocre. I mean, I think that role is so strong in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
role,
so
the
bad for
usage,
Bilal
the
Powell,
blocking.
How do we transition from Lev Bell to Bilal Powell? It's just not okay.
I love doing his thing.
yeah, but Lev Bell on the Jets that sounds depressing. I mean,
It really does. It's like David Johnson being on the Cardinals.
Oh,
Well,
when
this
real
story-
life is too real.
yeah, when you get a new head coach that doesn't know what to do with you. Ugh, yeah.
Mhm.
That's gross. Can we stay on the topic of disappointing receivers? And if you're listening to this in podcast form, I'm giving you the quotation marks here, 2 fingers. First of all, before we even jump into that, shout out to everyone in the live chat with us right now. First one coming through. Svoboda's in the building. Josh Jordan, Jay. Yep. The Svoboda, excuse me. Josh Jordan in the building with us. What up, Josh? Casey came through, said what up real quick. She's always good to give us a shout, even though she's out and about doing her thing. Shane Manila is in the building as well. And I think he and Chris are about to actually do or perform the first ever live chat trade that's ever been performed on the open bar in its 2-year history or one plus years live. Gabe, are you ready for such a momentous occasion as such?
Okay, so say the part again where you were about to tell me what you were going to say. I heard everything except for the important part.
I don't even remember, dude. Also in the chat. Also in the chat, Zach from the
yes, I'm
Dummies.
ready. Yes, I'm ready.
Gosh. Chris and Shane, they're about to do a trade. They're having some live trade discussions in the chat for one of
Okay,
their. I'm not sure
got
who.
it. First
Shane, Chris, which league is it?
ever trade. Okay, we can analyze this on the open bar. Give it to us. Ridley for who? What is it? Ridley for who?
All the money in the world. So disappointing receivers. Can we talk about OBJ for a second? Because I feel like I know Gabe, he's your guy in Dynasty for wide receiver one, just in terms of coming into the year. Who's your top wide receiver? He's been. So goes Eli. So goes the offensive line. Anybody nervous? Anybody selling? Anybody? What are we doing?
I mean, if you're nervous now, you should have been nervous before. I mean, this comes down to the talent is there and Eli's the quarterback, and there's no light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to that position. So, I mean, you could have forecasted this to some degree. I mean, he's wide receiver 22. There's a bunch of players in that offense. I mean, the offensive line is still garbage, so Eli just dumps it off to Saquon every play. So, I mean, I don't see – this is not a time to be selling. I think you got to at least wait until he has a blow-up if you want to get out of that stock. But it's 4 weeks, and he's wide receiver 22. So there's still plenty of time for things to turn around a little bit.
Yeah, you'd think that he'd kind of be matchup proof, I guess, and he really is, but he hasn't scored a touchdown. So, you know, are we looking at Julio Beckham Jr.? I don't think so. I mean, he's kind of more of a touchdown guy, so I think that those will come. I don't know. I think it does have a lot to do with touchdowns and really just this year of like scoring. Like I was actually looking at John Brown today, and I thought that he was like a top, 12 wide receiver. Like I thought he was like that good so far this year. And he turns out to be right just one ahead of Odell. He's 21 overall. And that just kind of surprised me because he's been just lights out so far. So, I mean, there's just been so much scoring. Like,
yes.
Like Odell could have one game and now he's immediately a top 10 guy again. So, and then so on and so forth, whatever. But I'm not worried.
Yeah, as soon as he has his breakthrough game, I'm dumping him because Eli does not. Eli just doesn't take enough pokes down the field to take advantage of OBJ. Right now, Sterling Shepard is looking like the wide receiver to own in that offense right now. It's just nothing but dump off.
Push it down the field. It's not a pretty sight. Like he is really bad at trying to get it to Odell in stride or really in bounds. In bounds is kind of a challenge. Like just between the thick white lines, that's been kind of tough. But I mean, like I don't know. I mean, I do believe in the talent. I mean, the same reasons that you'd buy Odell is the same reasons you'd buy a David Johnson and those type of guys. Like you're just betting strictly on the talent. And I don't know. I've got a man crush on OBJ, and so I would definitely be trying to get in right now. And I mean, he's still getting, especially if you play in PPR formats, he's getting almost 8 grabs a game so far over what's been a pretty disappointing start to the season. He's got 200-yard performances. He just doesn't have the touchdowns, and we know how random touchdowns can be. Now, he's in a fairly low upside offense, which makes no sense given the weapons, but that just goes to show how poor Eli's playing, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, Eli's really dragging that whole offense down. I think last week even dragged the Saints down with him. I mean, seriously, there was no reason for anybody to play it up that offense because
let's play Taysom Hill at quarterback and get him a bunch of rushes and passes.
Yeah. He'll just have sack.
What is it in the red zone? Let's take our Hall of Famer off the field. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I would be just fine just going ahead and snapping the ball to Saquon Barkley and running the option at this point. Hell, OBJ's got a better shot at getting the ball down the field that way.
OBJ does have the 10th easiest schedule from here on out for wide receivers.
Yeah, I was kind of looking at that. It didn't look so daunting. So maybe a good time to buy, honestly.
Anybody that's low,
no one's gonna.
Anybody that's low is a good time to buy. It's amazing. Like, but I see this all the time. Like
Antonio's down a little bit.
Well, with like Kareem Hunt too. Like everyone was like, "We'll sell Kareem Hunt after the first couple games," but it's like, well, honestly, he's kind of at a low point right now. Why would you be selling Kareem Hunt at his low point when he is due for positive regression?
Right. I think
Yeah,
it's
that
really
was
tough
quite
at
a
this part
nice
of the
night.
year. It's tough this part of the year to like realize, all right, is this guy just in a really terrible situation that's going to sink him for the rest of the year, or is he in some sort of situation where he's due for positive regression? And I think that's a legitimate question you can ask about OBJ. And is he a guy who just his situation's not going to improve? He's not going to get a brand new starting quarterback midseason. You know, what do you do with that?
Lauletta. Lauletta
Richmond
the
stand
dog's
up.
out.
But let me ask this, and I hate to spend so much time on the Giants because gosh, they stink. So the breakdown right now, as I'm looking at the targets, Odell's leading the team in targets, 45 targets, then Saquon, then Sterling Shepard. The next closest wide receiver in terms of wide receiver, is Cody Latterman with 5. So all the targets are being funneled to these 3 guys, right? You like to think with Shermer's acumen, with his what's the word? Kind of.
I don't know. I thought acumen was pretty good.
No, just kind of what he brought with him to New York. I think we thought, hey, he got a really tired-looking Vikings offense to really be something special behind an offensive line that wasn't very good 2 seasons ago. What can he do now? Like, what can he do with Odell and Saquon and Shepard? Like, oh my goodness! And now we're seeing they're having a hard time overcoming a horrendous offensive line. So you talk about Rosen getting hassled. What Eli's been through, that look that he have on his face, that gif that's been going around with him getting helped up, looking like he didn't seen a ghost. Man, it might be time to just jump off the boat for the entire season with that group because it's ugly.
Fair.
Just saying.
I think when with the Shepard take, I mean, he's had a couple nice games, but I think really that's been a lot from that injury to Evan Ingram. So I think when he's back, that's just.
No, I was no way advocating stocking up on Sterling.
Brad, own your take. Own your take.
Backtrack, Brad.
I think that's fair, man.
I wasn't saying that.
No, I don't cost yourself any freaking money. You know, don't. First take very bad.
Did you guys see the numbers on quarterbacks last week in terms of? I think they said 7 quarterbacks scored 30+ points.
Yeah.
Quarterback scoring is ridiculous this year.
Right.
And now, if you went early quarterback, you really look kind of ridiculous right now because Rodgers is playing poor. Brady's not doing anything. Really, Watson's really about the only guy who was drafted even in that general range that's playing really well.
Cam
a couple rounds.
But Cam's not even top 12 either, though, right now.
Yeah, because he had a bye, though, Jimmy.
I know, but you're messing up the narrative. I don't care about the facts, Jake.
Yeah, real elite QBs get those points on bye week.
Yeah. Real QB1s are still QB1s on buys. What you mean?
Don't slander Cam Newton or I'll get upset.
When did you become the Cam apologist? Oh my goodness!
I've always been the Cam apologist. Most disrespected fantasy player of all time, probably.
That might be.
That's fair.
That might be factual.
He's up there.
Yeah, that might be factual. Yeah, you're probably right.
Like Adam Thielen, Cam Newton, guys get no respect.
Oh, Eric Decker. I feel like Eric Decker is perennially one of those people that people bring up. So. Like I think Justin, you brought up a good point. So I do want to touch on these quarterbacks real quick. So you just said as we look at the landscape, those guys that you did take early: Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, maybe Dak if you really were feeling frisky, Mariota, Wentz. None of those guys are leading the pack right now. So just like you said, if you did go quarterback early and you missed out on any of that value from the other positions, like that's ugly, and I feel for you. Yeah.
Meanwhile, you got guys like Dalton, Matt Ryan, who are just like straight lighting it up that we're going in double-digit rounds. See, man, I'm such an idiot because I was heavy on Jimmy Garoppolo, and not just because he got hurt, am I idiot, but he had such a brutal early season schedule that, like, you know, if you're taking a quarterback that late, you got to start looking at the matchups. And but man, Mahomes was sitting there. Then you talk about changing your season around a little bit. Jeez,
Yeah.
that kid's fire.
Mahomes or Matt Ryan, and Goff has been playing really well.
Get this, Fitzpatrick is still number 4 after last week's performance.
Yep.
Yeah, I think of how many best balls I'm losing to people who flat out forgot a quarterback and went, "Oh shit, Joe Flacco."
I guess I got to do that.
You know, I mean, there's always one in that, you know, guy who just gets lucky with the back end guy. I mean, who thought Flacco was actually going to be throwing the ball this year?
Oh my gosh, you're right. Fitzpatrick really is still the third quarterback.
Yeah, he might actually be a top 10 QB still after his bye.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, not to mention Jimmy G got hurt. Forgot to bring him up. Oh my gosh, Fitzpatrick is the third. Oh,
Yeah.
I think Flacco maybe could have been expected just a little. I mean, a completely new wide receiver core and tight ends too. Like
they don't like tight ends in Baltimore.
They've been throwing to like every single tight end that they have on the roster.
They play 4 of them.
Where's Darren Waller?
They literally play 4 of them, and they don't even have their first round draft.
Right, Hayden Hurst. Yeah,
Right.
But, I mean, John Brown, healthy. Crabtree's always been, you know, fine for the most part. Snead is reliable enough. I mean, it's a completely different wide group, or just receiving group.
Who seriously was thinking John Brown is going to be healthy more than like 4 games this year, though?
Right.
You know,
There's your 4 games.
Yeah, that's a real happy. That's a real happy accident. I was really thinking that Crabtree would be the difference maker in that offense. So I drafted a bunch of Crabtree and kind of regretted it.
I took Smokey quite a bit in late best balls. I took him in the Scott Fish Bowl late.
Yeah.
It was a matter of health. I mean, sometimes these guys
Really was
their career, and sometimes they don't. But the talent has always been there, and it's really exciting to see him thriving again.
What are you guys doing with Alex Collins?
Ooh.
Dude, I was about to tweet something, and then he fumbled right on the line. All you Buck Allen truthers out there, averaging, 2 yards a carry, 38 yards from scrimmage a game, banking on 4 touchdowns in 3 games. Alex Collins gets the catch for a touchdown inside the 5, and then he's about to get his second TD of the day. And then, of course, he fumbles. And then they pull in Lance Turner, who looks like his mirror image with the dreadlocks.
Spider-Man pointing at each other.
Yeah, you can't even. I tweeted that kept out. I love the talent. I wish he'd get utilized more. I don't see it with Buck Allen at all. He's a pretty good pass catcher, I guess, but I think Alex Collins is underrated pass catcher. The fumbles worry me, and the usage definitely worries me.
One thing I see is kind of a trend in the NFL this year is this whole idea of using smaller backs near the red zone or near the goal line. Like I feel like I'm seeing that more and more and more. Like your Buck Allen is your goal line back. Your Philip Lindsay. Yeah, is your goal line back. Deion Lewis over Derrick Henry. Like these things, on paper, they make no sense. But I mean, realistically, Deion Lewis is one of the best between the tackles runners, mathematically in the league. He's a really efficient runner. And he's a really good short yardage, and he was great at that in New England. And I haven't honestly seen a ton of Tennessee's games this year, but I know he's still carving out that role. I mean, I'm still a little bit open-minded to a Derrick Henry resurgence because Mariota looked much better this week. And if that offense gets clicking, they get in positive game scripts. He's already getting like 18 carries a week. He's getting crazy work. He's just another dude who hadn't found the end zone, but maybe he never will. And he certainly is not that active in the passing game.
And schematically, I mean, just having a small back in there at the goal line, like the defense isn't really expecting a run play up the gut.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's a decent idea there.
And it keeps your options open too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's about selling the pass and getting some play action closer to the red zone. So that's always good.
Yeah.
And running backs don't matter. It's been like the narrative all of Twitter this whole year. People
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, like all offseason, everyone was talking about, how passing offenses are due for so much positive regression, and everyone agreed with it. And then we all went crazy on running backs again. It's like, it's got to be one or the other. It can't be both. And it certainly seems like, especially with these new rule changes, that, man, it is a passing offense, and these running backs are scary, man. Wow. They are scary. Buck Allen was a top 12 running back going into this week.
TJ Yeldon is a top 10 running back behind one of the biggest volume back game.
Well, I mean, the volume that he doesn't get because he can't be on the field.
Sure, but I just mean in the first 2 weeks, he was still getting carries and being a top 25 back, probably.
Josh Hermsmeyer is so excited that we're talking about TJ
Yeldon. he's excited about talking about running backs don't matter. I'm looking at these top 24, man. None of these guys.
Crazy.
Oh, it's so funny.
Jake, I can't get over getting this visual out of my head just now when you were talking about how we can't quit early running backs. I just get that picture of Dave Chappelle skit where he's on Fear Factor with Joe Rogan. Let me tell you something you don't know about me, Joe Rogan. I smoke rocks. Like we can't stop ourselves. It's crazy. Like, yeah, I'm gonna take a running back in the first round. Like, what do you mean?
Phenomenal analogy.
Yep. J-Mike's done it again.
The chat has brought up some craziness. Not necessarily crazy like bad takes. Things that I feel like we definitely have to discuss. Where do we go back to? Okay,
first of all, that the chat is our show sheet, and that's a phenomenal way to do it.
Typically, when the chat's lit like it is tonight, it's a fantastic show sheet. Sometimes,
right.
But tonight is definitely.
You get the wrong people in there, and I won't say names. But if Jake's Jake's on the show tonight.
Yeah.
So one thing, Gabe, and you probably haven't heard it yet because the Dummies just dropped the episode, like, I don't know, 2 hours ago or something.
Turn off the open bar. Go listen to the Dummies.
Fact.
The Dummy Blitz.
Shout out to
J-Mike.
Craziness. Shout out to Zach. Shout out to Kyle. They do fantastic work over on the Dynasty Dummies feed. Zach actually did and he shouted you out, Gabe. He gave the Wubba Lubba Chub Chub, and it was absolutely fantastic when he did it. Is there a rookie running back not named Saquon Barkley that you'd rather have on a Dynasty team than Chubb? And really, I guess it's at this point, it's Chubb versus Carry-On.
I think Sony needs to be in that conversation too, though.
Oh, yes. Can't forget about Sony. Sorry. I know it's your guy too, Jake. My bad. I didn't do it on purpose. I promise.
No, it's all good. I liked all those guys. I'm just happy that Freeman and Penny and who else did I not like?
I think Freeman's okay. He's getting
competition. Exactly. He's okay, but like before the season started, when Sony was injured, and like Freeman was going at 102, like right before the season started, which was insane to me.
He's still looking fine though. Like he looked like he really looks great when he gets the ball.
But the thing is, like, they stack the box against him, there's a reason for that. Like, he's not a threat in the passing game, and he's not dynamic. I mean, he's a tough runner, good vision. He has good acceleration. He's fast. He's not horribly agile. But I mean, he is what he is. But I think people were expecting him to come into that backfield and get 20 touches a game, and that's just not happening.
And Philip Lindsay has been
the truth.
Yeah.
The truth.
Yeah, like surprisingly good. I mean, nobody was talking about Philip Lindsay before the season. It was like, oh, it's going to be, Royce Freeman's looking at bell cow role. Then he's looking at losing some carries to Booker. And now he's, Philip Lindsay comes out of nowhere and is better than both of them.
Yeah, forget a 7th round draft pick and a running back moving from team to team in Carson and Mike Davis over a 1st round running back. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this year's first first round. I'm not first round, but I mean this year's running back crop has been just hammered. Either bad situations or just can't stay in shape. In Penny's case, and I don't know what the hell the problem with Ronald Jones is.
Oh, J. Mike. Here, buddy.
I didn't
I mean, does he just like does he just park in the coach's spot during practice or something? I mean, he got banished very quickly to the bench, for Peyton Barber, who's good, serviceable, but certainly not something that you were hoping that Ronald Jones would do.
I think in the running back room, like when the coach is trying to teach him stuff in video and whatnot, I think he must be just crunching on Cheetos real loud. He's got the flaming hot ones, right? That you got to like lick your fingers for, and he's extra loud, extra loud with it. I think that's what's pushed him so far down the bench. And like he's chilled out on the Cheetos, and now
what are you saying?
That's the only thing Ronald Jones truthers have to go to.
I'm grasping for anything now. It's no
Cheetos, I'm telling you, I can feel it. It's just a gut call.
Flaming hot Cheetos.
It's flaming hot. That's where I'm going.
No, it's been bad. I don't. It's sad. It's a sad reality.
J. Mike, what's he washing down those flaming hot Cheetos with?
Oh, you got to have a bottle of peach knee-high. Or some Tahitian treat, like just a real hood classic. It can't be just like any normal pop. It's got to be like something straight from the convenience store up the street.
Right.
Definitely peach knee-high.
This has become a completely different show.
I don't like where it's going, to be honest.
Yeah. Ronald Jones brings the peach knee-high to the open bar.
J. Mike's got segues. Do you?
I'm just peachy.
Hey. The other thing we needed to talk about that came from the chat, and we can again. I'm sorry. I feel like these things need to be talked about. The Svoboda mentions this. He says at this point in Dynasty, he has two quarterbacks that are 1 and 2 that were not 1 and 2 before the season. Currently, he has Mahomes as QB1 in Dynasty and Jared Goff as QB2. Neither of those names are Aaron Rodgers. Neither of those names are Carson Wentz. Neither of those names are Deshaun Watson, Andrew Luck. The list goes on. Thoughts? I found it interesting when I read it. I just found it striking. I would never call you a thought. You are so much more precious than that.
I mean, there's a lot of recency bias there, but I get it.
Always.
The coaching staffs are both really good. They're both young. They're both surrounded by tons of offensive weapons. They're in situations that they're going to produce, and it's going to be sustained for year after year. You would at least think. So I get it. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I get it. I still think that Cam should be in that discussion, who never is in that discussion. I mean, Deshaun Watson's played. I mean, he hasn't been last year, Deshaun, but for fantasy purposes, he's putting up some really spectacular points. Kirk Cousins outside that Buffalo game has been really, really good. Matt Ryan outside of that Week 1 performance has been spectacular. So I think more so than maybe Mahomes, I get, but like Goff, I think it's more that so many good quarterbacks are playing well that they're almost in a tier. So it's almost like, oh, let's just shove the young guys up there.
Well, yeah, and like obviously you're tying them to really, really strong offensive staffs too in both of those examples, which that's a great thing. Like I think you want talent, I think you want youth, and I think you want to be tied into a really, really strong staff. But either, all of those things are going to change over time. So you really want to fall back on talent. And I mean, I think Goff is starting to eliminate some of those talent concerns, because I was certainly not convinced he had what it took, 2 years ago. And now, I mean, gosh, that Vikings game, I mean, he's just straight dropping dimes.
Dealing.
It was insane.
Everyone was, as a Vikings fan, everyone's complaining about the defense, and I get it. Like, they were awful on play action. Linebackers were on wide receivers. Like, I get it. But, like, also, that's just a testament to how fucking good this Rams offense is and how good Sean McVay is at scheming and drawing up play calls.
It's beautiful.
They're all over the place.
Yeah.
I wasn't even angry. I was just like, this is amazing.
It's like a snowflake offense. There's like no one play that's the same as the one before. It's insane. But the one other thing I was gonna say is and not a snowflake like in a soft way, like a you know, like
let's not get political.
Like a big bad snowflake. Like
Now it makes
Iron
sense.
snowflake.
Now,
really sharp edges and like
now I get it.
yeah, see,
Yes.
now you get it. But I think people have issues putting Watson up there now because of that offense that he's in, because of Bill O'Brien, and I don't think we really trust him in that offense. Whereas we trust Reed, we trust McVay, we trust Peterson, I suppose, if you want to throw Wentz in there, and I don't know, Kirk Cousins, I suppose. Those seems like people are starting to trust more of an offense rather than the player, or maybe more of a combination, I guess. But Watson is, like you said, Jake, has actually been playing pretty well this year. So it's hard to leave him out of that top tier as well for me.
Those rushing quarterbacks are just so lethal. You know, like their floor is so damn high that it's not irrelevant in what they do at passing, but like they don't have to impress nearly as much from a passing standpoint when they get, you know, anywhere from 5 to 12 points between, you know, rushing yards and possible rushing TDs.
And now Cam has shown he's capable of withstanding coaching turnover. I mean, not at the head coach, but at the coordinator level too. And obviously, Jake loves Cam Newton. I think Cam pulled Jake and his family from a burning building or something. Love is real.
May well have.
And you know, Cam jumped out and just stretched his shirt out from his chest.
That's why they couldn't find Cam after he wrecked his truck on the highway, because he was running saving Jake. Like, y'all messing me up. I got to go.
He's Superman for a reason, fellas. Hey, he's tied for a third in points per game right now.
Yeah, but who cares about points per game? I mean, it's overall points that we look at.
Yeah, all Cam
not a
Newton
QB1.
all Cam Newton is good for is for stealing touchdowns from CMC. So
There you have it.
for me this year. Just thanks for robbing me of all those potential touchdowns from a dynamic running back who has 0 touchdowns on the season. Thanks, Cam. Yeah.
And still is just been a stud, though. I mean,
Oh, the numbers are there. It's fantastic.
About an RB1 with a bye week.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this week he gets
there. No,
well. I mean, the talent.
McCaffrey's at 13 points a game, which would bring him at 11th, but not with his bye. He's 20th overall with his bye.
Yeah.
He's averaging 13.6.
I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing him.
Oh,
as
my bad.
And I'm seeing him as RB6.
I was under the wrong setting there. I was on the wrong setting there. I'm sorry.
Notice how I'll just nod at anything anybody says.
Yeah.
Brad's like,
That's a stat. Yeah, that's valid. I was drinking at everything.
Brad's not who you want on the witness stand. Yeah.
I didn't realize when you changed player positions.
So you were there. Yeah. Yeah. You were holding the gun. Yeah. Yeah.
He just murdered that entire building, but I really, really like that guy. He's
He's so honest. He's so honest.
he owned it.
His girlfriend said he does volunteer work. So
Play 60, holla. Okay. Oh
Yeah, I was
God.
under standard there for I don't know why I switched through positions and it went back to standard instead of PPR, which didn't seem right. So yeah, he's 20.9 points per game, which would put him the number 6 spot for the year.
Who is that?
CMC.
McCaffrey.
Yeah. Yeah, that got lost in all of that. What the hell are we talking about?
So wait, CMC murdered somebody? Is that
Brad saw it too.
Yeah, I was like, I'm totally there.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Tyler Gunther's in the building in the chat as well. He's saying DJ Moore is about to be a monster from here on out.
Oh God!
I want to believe that badly.
Made a trade with me.
I know.
Dwight came through as well. What up, peoples? Yeah. So our rookie wide receiver crop is not. I mean, besides Calvin Ridley, I think it's a whole bunch of Cortland Sutton looked pretty good last night.
What was that?
Cortland Sutton busting my Suttons. Your main squeeze. He's balling. He's looked good.
Yeah, Cortland Sutton's look good. Yeah, but aside from Ridley, it's like
even better.
Remember Dante Pettis? He had like a good game once, and it was awesome, and then nothing.
Hey man, life comes at you fast in the NFL.
As soon as I picked him off of waivers, he was worthless. It was amazing. It's like I should just put a column out there. Crap I've picked up on waivers. These guys,
Please avoid.
me chasing scores isn't working out. So
Guys that I like that you shouldn't.
Golly, he's got 3 receptions on the year. That's so disappointing.
So DJ Moore, he's got 25%, 25%, and 49% of snaps so far this year in 3 weeks. So he's still got a little ways to go. Like I can't believe Jarius Wright was playing in front of him. Torrey Smith is still playing in front of him. Like he should be playing ahead of literally everyone on that depth chart, Devin Funchess included. Like I don't get it. Like Moore was the one guy in this year's draft that to me was like, go ahead and put him on the field day one and give him a full workload. Like he's just ready for it.
Get him in space, even if you just need to create plays with him. Get him on slants. Get him on screen plays. Just get him in space and let him do his thing after the catch.
Agreed. He was supposed to be like I don't know if that's a fair comparison, but like a young Randall Cobb, like just come out, get him the ball in the middle of the field and let him break something off with his legs, man. He's talented and he's a possession guy. He's going to come down with the ball more times than not.
Has he been playing kick return like Cobb used to in his first few?
Ooh, I don't know.
My comp for Randall Cobb was actually the next rookie wide receiver we should talk about is Christian Kirk. I think he's in for some positive plays coming up. I mean, Josh Rosen is obviously, if you've watched the preseason, he targeted the hell out of Christian Kirk. When he came in for that last 4-minute drill 2 weeks ago, he targeted Kirk. Last week, he targeted Kirk a good amount. There's obviously a connection there. I don't know what's going on with Fitz. I guess he had that hamstring injury. So Chad Williams is still there. So I don't know what's going to happen with that Cardinals offense. How do you guys see those targets being distributed between Fitz, Chad Williams, and Christian Kirk in the next coming weeks?
I just don't know if I've seen quite enough yet for me to be convinced that there is room for Kirk. And yeah, I don't know what's happening with the Fitz thing. And I don't know if David Johnson will ever get running back targets. Like it's such a hard thing to like analyze because it's so inconsistent from week to week. And now we're just finally seeing Rosen, but I think that there is at least a little bit of trust to be able to see Kirk go up. So yeah, I think that we can see something from Kirk moving forward, but how much?
I think he's a guy that might, become relevant in redraft. He has a shot at that. But I think Chad Williams probably has a shot at that too. I mean, he could have had a monster game last week.
There's a real path to any of these guys. If you figure that DJ Sealand's capped at 20 to 25% of targets, and Larry Fitz is probably in that 25% range too, that's half the offense is still wide open up for grabs. Ricky Seals-Jones was a guy that I thought like could be a thing, and he fits right in with the rest of my squad, honestly.
How many did anybody know how many targets he had last week?
Kirk?
Ricky Seals-Jones.
Oh,
Because
no.
Rosen absolutely loved Caleb Wilson at UCLA
Yeah.
and the rest of his tight ends. He loves those seam plays. So I'm not sure how many targets he had last week. 3. Jeez, that's rough. I think he dropped a big catch too.
Oh wait, no, that was against the Bears.
4. Two catches on 4 targets for 52.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think there could be something there too. I mean, they weren't playing. They weren't playing Seattle, who's been, I believe, a top 6 passing defense. And that's another reason why I was really encouraged by Rosen. I wasn't really expecting a lot in my like single real redraft league. It's a 2 QB 10 team, and I came on by and only had 2 quarterbacks. My options were Beathard, Rosen, and Josh Allen. Guess who I picked up?
What'd you get?
Beathard.
You went with Joshy Allen.
Just last
Josh
week, I
Allen.
went with Josh Allen. That was a great decision.
Yeah.
I was like, Green Bay, like I think he's got the same floor as Rosen. So I think his upside is bigger. That was smart. I felt so gross. And guess who I'm scrambling to get off waivers this week?
Yeah.
Who's that? Beathard?
Beathard.
Oh.
God.
Yeah, with
Hey,
Fitz.
so-
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, with Fitz though, I keep wondering if I'm playing a game of washed or injured with him.
Mm.
You know, so it's like, you know, I'm kind of at my rope with him in my redraft leagues and my best ball leagues where I took like 15% interest in him or getting hammered, and I wish I could get rid of him. But yeah, I have to wonder if he's actually going to be able to come back from this, especially since they've just gone in with a rookie quarterback. Maybe they're just going to start, blow it up and start over.
I think he's one of these old school, tough, gritty guys too, who's like not going to take himself off the field for 2 or 3 weeks to get his hamstring right. Like it's just going to always be a thing all year long for him, which is kind of disconcerting. But that's why. I mean, if you can't unload him, like nobody's going to take him off your hands. So what do? You just sit him on the end of your bench for the next 10 weeks.
You dump him in a family league and off of name value like everybody else. Come on, Grandma, you heard
the
of him.
past 12 years.
He was great when you were like in your 50s. He's just awesome.
You remember Super Bowl 33, don't you?
That's too good. Well, Gabe, it's 10:27.
Oh my God, how did that happen?
J Mike,
Sir.
do you even go over that trade that was in the chat, or you just
They never
They
executed.
didn't hash
Shane
it out?
kind of disappeared. Chris left the chat. It just kind of fell flat. It was really disappointing. I'm sorry.
Should we check on him?
We did not sell that trade very well.
No, we did not. No. Not gonna be able to do
There
it.
was one Twitter happening. I know you talk about your live chat, J Mike. Still don't know if that exists. But
Why do you say my live chat? It's you know what? No, never mind. Go ahead.
Well, because
Go ahead.
well, is it real? Is it real?
Why does everybody know about the chat but you?
I can't find a link.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
On Twitter though, I was just quote tweeting about the Ridley thing and Julio and Dynasty and Matt Williams at DF Statistics. That shout out to the FF Statistics crew. He tweeted something that it was a Dynasty poll and there were only 77 votes, but Ridley won that thing. And it was 65-35 or so. Just something to take note of.
This is what we're doing.
Like, can we? I don't know.
Can I get Melvin Gordon for Ridley?
No.
I mean,
just because Melvin's been balling out too, but before last week, you probably could have got Ridley for Hunt.
Yeah,
for real. That's true. You're right. You're
right. That's it. That's all I have. J Mike, do you have anything to say?
I feel like there's so much still to be said, but we're being good little boys. Good little boys here, and we've kept it manageable for people. People might actually listen to the actual pod because it's about an hour or less than an hour actually, and not the marathons that we used to stay up all late night and do. Like it was I equate it to a summer sleepover, slumber party, if you will. During the summertime, I mean, we're all carefree, letting our hair down. Life was good. Stay up all night, chat it up, laugh till you fall asleep in front of the computer. And now, like school's in session, so we've got to work, got jobs, we've got bills to pay. We're responsible. We're fiscally responsible. We're like the Matt Ryan photo when he was walking into the Bengals game. You guys haven't seen that yet. That's the open bar. That's the attitude we've taken upon.
Sponsored by Old Navy.
Holla at us.
Yeah, we kept it under an hour because the draft guy killed the vibe.
Speaking of, no. Oh my gosh, Brett, can you give us a rough estimate as to how many drafts you ended up being in? Because I was getting invites from you every other day, and I was like, I cannot do this.
I ended up with 430 best balls. So yeah, that was a lot of drafting. I have no life, though. I mean, that's to be fair,
Yeah, we all don't. That's why we're here.
Nah, but I mean, I really don't have life, man.
We should all get in a heated debate.
I didn't leave my house for 2 freaking years, I mean, that's hardcore. I gotta take a vitamin E pill this big once a week because I just never got out.
No, that's just called a dedication to live.
And look how pale I am. Do you realize I'm Puerto Rican?
No way.
Yeah, I found out 5 years ago when I met my dad. I asked him what part of Spain was grandma from. He said Puerto Rico.
Dead.
I can't. No outros tonight. Let's just leave it there.
That's it, man.
Wrap it up. Oh my God!
Take us home, man.
Oh, good Lord.
Are you sure? No plug? You don't want to plug? We can't plug people?
No, plug away. Let's do it. It's hilarious. Oh man.
All right. Give us a Brad take, Brad.
Well, since I'm just plugging stuff, head on over to the Quant Edge and see what we got. I think you can get we have a free trial for 5 days or a $5 trial for 5 days. And actually right now you can get my draft rankings for free because people don't want to pay for them. No. I mean, it just makes a great lead in. I was like, I saw myself was free today and I was like, oh, okay. It's
like you're doing everyone else a favor with your free content.
Yeah. I'm getting hammered in these in drafts for people to know what I'm picking for free. Oh, awesome.
Avoid.
Anyway, you sign up with my TQE 69 because I totally ripped it off from Ryan Hodge.
Nice.
Plus, it was only 5 digits to remember, and you get the a 10% discount off your first month. So there's your plug. And you get my wonderful draft insight, and I'm available in chat for hell. I make the best self-deprecating jokes ever.
Those are the best kind.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're the only kind I can tell without losing a job, I can't talk about your boobs, but I can talk about mine.
That's the intro. That's it.
Yes.
Oh man, Brad, you are
Oh,
rating yourself. The former NFL draft talker.
is this the time to plug?
If that's
Is
if you still respond to
this
that, do
time?
I need to call you Jake Anderson FF
No,
or what?
no,
What do
you
I need?
don't.
You've gotten real corporate nowadays, man.
You have, yeah.
I don't know about that.
That's it with you.
Hell, I'll plug your avatar making business because that's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, man, it is awesome.
It is true. You know what? I can always tell now. Like I see him all
Yeah.
through the feed, and I'm like, that's a draft talker. That's a draft talker.
That one sucks. That's definitely.
It's like that's a Monet. That's a draft talk.
That's an Anderson FFer.
Doesn't quite sound good, does it, man?
As soon as I switched my Twitter, and I'm like, seller's remorse, buyer's remorse. But yeah, you can find me at Twitter at Jake Anderson FF. I'm a writer at DLF Football. I don't do a whole lot of writing there, but we do have a podcast. It's affiliated with the DLF family of podcasts, the Dynasty Crossroads. We talk about one player at a time from a film and analytical perspective. Check us out on iTunes and all your podcast apps. And then my fantasy works at Fantasy Graphics. If you need any logo work, Twitter avies, headers, all that shit, you can DM me anytime. Thanks for having me on, fellas.
And this is absolutely thank you for coming on. But this
Welcome back home.
Two exactly. Yeah. This has been 2 in a row there for the TQE plugs because you did some of the graphics for TQE, right? Or like all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the logo and I did all the podcast graphics.
Yeah, you did the logo to my podcast and
The man's legit.
Yeah, TQE is an affiliate of our podcast as well, and you can use Brad's, but we do have one too. You can save 10% by using code word Crossroads.
Anybody say me 15%? Anybody give me 15? Now maybe I'll switch.
I bet Justin's got
why
something
not?
for you.
That's right. Stay tuned right after this break.
I'll throw in some pictures of my tits.
Show me yours and I'll show you mine. Oh, man.
Imagine where this podcast would have went if we wouldn't went for like the traditional 3.
Missing that already.
I have no idea what I'm going to do with the rest of my night right now.
We're gonna polish off the rest of that old fashioned. I promise you that.
Hey.
Cheers.
Well, Justin, do you have anything to say about your tits, or should we just sign off?
I like to call them the peach knee highs.
So juicy. So juicy.
J Mike just went from 6 to midnight. So other than that, you can find me on the Twitter at Justin Freeman 18. I'm writing over at Number Fire, having a lot of fun doing that and posting articles occasionally. So just follow me for updates on that. Currently hosting a projections competition. Got some really big names in there. We're going to award winners this year. It's called Leader of the Pack, and we're going to award winners by position and then an overall winner. So just posted some information on that today as far as who's on the leaderboard and all that. So go check it out.
Man, we got some busy people tonight, J Mike. And some all-stars at that. Diverse. All around. J Mike, what do you have to say about yourself? Can you say anything interesting at all? There's no way that that's possible.
Keep your tits out of it, J Mike.
Look. I'm high class. You got to pay the CDs. Incredibly grateful to be here with you guys tonight. Brad, Jake, Justin, thank you guys very much for joining us here at the Open Bar. Truly appreciate you guys. Everyone in the chat, thank you guys for joining us as well, giving us some fantastic fodder to chop it up with. So again, if you're only listening to us via podcast, we appreciate that first and foremost. Thank you for taking the time to check us out. But we also have the live. Hi there. How are you? We've also got the live chat that goes on Tuesday nights, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. Legitimately barely late now versus always on time, quote unquote. So you can check us out that way. And again, anywhere you can catch podcasts outside of Spotify, because I found out we're not there. You can check us out.
But it sounds good.
It sounds real good. You know? So yeah, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, and the like. Yeah, happy to do it. So on Twitter at JMikeCheck, at JMICCheck. Show's handle is at the Open Bar FP, as in fake pigskin. What up, Jared? And that's all that I've got. So Gabe, it is on you, my man. Take us home.
I think that's an important point to talk about the chat, because whoever said that about the chat being the show sheet is so correct. Please come join us live. It is so much fun to interact, live with whomever our guests are, but as well as the people in the chat. So appreciate y'all coming live, but if you can't make it live, appreciate y'all hearing it the next day. And, when you're listening, what is it? 1.25, 1.5 times, you can finish this podcast in like, what, 40? I don't know. I don't listen on that speed. What can you finish it in, fellas? Like 40 minutes, 45 minutes? I can't do the math either. J Mike, what are you doing? What is this?
This is me proving to you that the chat is real. This is not The Matrix. This is not an old Alfred Hitchcock film. This is real
Okay.
life.
Mm-hmm.
I just know it's actually me with 12 different computers in front of me.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Look at me. I'm so talented.
J Mike, you did not mention something that you were doing, though.
Yes.
You need to talk about that, or I will.
You mean when I kicked the crap out of Justin McCaslin in SFB?
That's the first thing.
What up, Justin? Justin's my guy. We had a lot of fun on Sunday with that. Yeah, so one thing I am doing, and again, super shout out to Kyle LeBrecq and Zach from the Dynasty Dummies. They show me a lot of love. They give me the platform to say a lot of crazy things. But on their podcast feed, you'll find a little show that comes out on late Monday nights called The Dummy Blitz. I give you 15 minutes or less of just the happenings of what's going on throughout the league, standout performances, crappy performances, people who are out here nervous about randomness that's going on in fantasy. So, yeah, I try to give it to you fast and quick and talk through some fun stuff that goes on. So, yeah, you can check us out on the Dynasty Dummy feed, and I have a lot of fun with that. So, yeah, thank you for shouting that out, Gabe. I appreciate it. And to you as well, Jake. Thank you. Yeah, I have a lot of fun with that.
Look, my man is underrated, okay? And the disrespect is real, and I won't allow it, okay? He's got a voice for this, and he's very, very fun to listen to.
Every time I listen to J Mike on that, I'm like, I could never do this by myself. 0% chance. So huge shout out, J Mike.
It's true. It's true. I am the FF man bun. The man bun is in full effect tonight.
Speaking of sellouts.
What?
Grab bag. Hello.
Yeah, what happened to grab bag?
That was so much better. Yeah, you're looking so corporate now, Gabe. What the fuck, dude?
I changed my handle at FF man. I did put the FF. I put the FF in my name to make fun of like you, fool. Okay, NFL Draft Talker was the shit.
I'm changing back. Actually, they won't let me. I'll change back to NFL Draft Talker FF.
How many characters is that? That's too many. That's too many. Oh, I think you could make that. Okay. It's been a pleasure, fellas, tonight. This has been great. We'll be back next week. We're live 9:30 Eastern every Tuesday. It's a booze day at times, but it's not required. We appreciate y'all joining us. And Jake, cheers, fellas. Cheers, fellas. Little cheers to the old. Oh, I'm gonna drip all over my computer. And we'll see y'all next week. Throw the deuce up. Deuces.